So House Democrats are doubling down on the fact that they are going to get this Build Back Better Act passed this week. Republicans fight them and say, no, that's not a good idea. Even moderates are saying, no, we should potentially wait. The good news is they are going to push forward with this and get the bill over to the Senate, because it does not matter what the House of Representatives does. It matters what the Senate is willing to do. That's where there's going to be multiple sticking points, and I'll address that in just a minute. We also know that many Democrats in the House of Representatives are trying to work with the senators, and mainly Senator Joe Manchin. He is making things a little bit difficult, but I will address where things currently stand with him. We have some news on inflation. President Biden is trying to push back against oil and gas companies, trying to get them to take away some of their profits to lower the price of gas, and I'll address what's going on there. We also know that Pfizer they actually applied for their emergency use authorization for their pill, their COVID pill. That's actually some very interesting news. That is something that the COVID pill is not necessarily a vaccine. What the COVID pill does is it reduces the possibility of going to a hospital. Okay, it reduces your symptoms. It speeds up your recovery. Okay, so that's actually a very good thing, and the U.S. government is actually planning on spending multiple billions of dollars on this pill. So that's actually really good news, both for Pfizer, if you own the stock in Pfizer, and this is also good news for those that do not want to get the vaccine, but yet don't want to end up in a hospital, right? So good news there. And lastly, we got some news on the debt ceiling deadline. So that's pretty important as well, and I'll address that at the end of this video. First off, hopefully you guys had an incredible day today so far, but let's get into the update. House Democrats are saying they're going to pass the Build Back Better Act this week. Now, I want to address something. I keep on calling this the stimulus package, the Build Back Better Act, right? The American Families Plan. The reason for all these things, this initially started out as pretty much a stimulus package, stimulus to the American people. But then there was no stimulus or very little stimulus. And then Democrats decided, let's change that. We're going to call it the American Families Plan. Yep, good idea. Because this is money going to the families, to children, to parents. But then we saw we can't call this the American Families Plan. Number one, because that alienates everybody else that is not part of a family, doesn't have children, is not going to get any of this benefit. So how can we say, you know what, we're going to call this the Build Back Better Act, because we're going to build back better. We're not going to make America great again. We're going to build back better. That's the goal. Well, what we heard this morning was, even though this is the Build Back Better Act, now we're going to change how we structure this, and we are going to target inflation. We are going to go after inflation right at the source, because we're going to make childcare cheaper. We're going to make give payments to parents. We're going to make education cheaper, right? We're going to make all these things cheaper. Great, awesome. Here's the problem. Democrats changed it again to let's fight inflation, because inflation we're seeing at record levels. So here's what Republicans are doing. Republicans are firing back at Democrats, saying that they caused this. Democrats are the reason that we have this crisis right now. Republicans say that Democrats, without a single Republican vote, passed the American Rescue Plan for $1.9 trillion. That was one of the main causes of all this inflation. I'm not going to say whether or not that's true or not, because honestly, we passed a lot of money under former President Donald Trump. So is it because the $1.9 trillion stimulus package? Yes, in part. Is it because of the $4 or $5 trillion we passed under former President Donald Trump and the pandemic? Yes, in part. But it's everything combined. It's everything combined. Right now, Republicans don't have any power. It's all up to Democrats to fight this. So what Republicans are saying is we're seeing the highest levels of inflation in the past 30 years because of you guys. You guys are the issue. Now, multiple Democrats have said they are not even sure if they're going to pass this bill. Number one, because is this going to increase inflation? Are we going to see more inflation because of this? It's possible. Other Democrats say that they want more answers on the SALT tax provision. They don't like the idea that, or some argue they don't like the idea that we are supposed to pass a bill that's going to go and tax the rich, but yet we're going to give the same rich people this other benefit over here. And so others say that if there's no SALT tax deduction in this, they won't support it. Again, this is in the House. Remember this, the House of Representatives can lose 3 votes. If 4 members defect, then this bill will not pass. This bill will be dead. If it cannot pass the House of Representatives, there's no chance in the world it's going to pass through the Senate. So we'll see what happens. We do know that the House wants to work together with the Senate. However, some are a little bit worried that Senator Joe Manchin is doing what Nancy Pelosi did with former President Donald Trump, where she just kind of, toys with the cat, right? She's just playing with the little cat. Hopefully it's going to hit the little ball around, right? But she never had a plan to accept the bill that former President Donald Trump was putting on the table. That's exactly what some are worried about with Senator Joe Manchin, is he's just playing with the rest of Congress, saying, oh yeah, we just need to get this done. We need to get an agreement here and there, and we'll pass this bill. But in the end, many lawmakers are saying that they have a feeling he's just trying to kind of, drag them along just far enough that everyone decides, you know what, let's just go on recess. Let's take the rest of the year off in December, not now. Let's take the rest of the year off in December for our holiday vacation, right? Holiday recess, and we will reconvene back in the first of the year. That's the expectation. Again, that's not great. The good news is that more lawmakers are coming out and saying this is what they feel. Because if more people come out and say, you know what, this is what we think. This is where we're at. And call Senator Joe Manchin out on this, chances are he will be forced to show his hand, either pass the bill or say, you know what, you're right. I'd rather just pass in 2022, which he's already said multiple times before. Multiple lawmakers have also said they can't agree on paid leave. That right now paid leave is the issue. And we know Senator Joe Manchin doesn't support that. But what multiple lawmakers are saying is that paid leave isn't just free money, that people have to work for this money. They have to work to receive this benefit. And that's exactly what Senator Joe Manchin has said multiple times, is he just wants to see a work requirement outlined first. If there's a work requirement for this, then he could potentially jump on board and support this. But as of right now, that hasn't been addressed. So we'll see what happens there. Regarding inflation, did you know, okay, and I don't think a lot of people realize this, but did you know that what gas prices are currently, right now, they were actually more expensive 10 years ago? Did you know that? Most people don't. Most people say, oh, it's President Biden. Well, here's the thing. It's a little interesting, but President Biden was also vice president the last time gas prices were, more than what they are now. So it could have something to do with President Biden. Now, I'm not trying to, back President Biden and say, oh, he's doing a great job. I think there's a lot of stuff he needs to work on, right? I'm not here to support him. I'm here to just call him out on where he's lacking. The American people, they need more help. But here's something else. Today, economist Mark Zandi, he said this, and I quote, "Uncomfortably high inflation isn't here to stay. It won't be lower a month or even 3 months from now, as quelling the chaos from COVID will take time." He goes on to state, "But a year from now, inflation will be low enough we won't be talking about it." That would be great. But he doesn't say it's going to be at 2%. He doesn't say we're going to see massive deflation. He just says it's going to be low enough. Anything that gets closer to 3% would be enough that most people are not going to talk about. Additional 1%, no big deal. But when we're talking about 6%, or if some are expecting we're going to be hitting 6.5 to maybe 7% next month, we're going to be talking about that. I guarantee you, inflation is going to be the major thing everybody's talking about. However, when it comes to gas prices, that's where everybody's worried. That's where a lot of people are fixated. It's costing so much money. I cannot afford to even go to work. I cannot afford to put, any type of gas in my car because it's too expensive. I remember just seeing this the other day, and I've seen it multiple times, is people are just going up to the attendant at the gas station. They don't even have a card, right? Again, a lot of people here in the United States do not have bank accounts. Okay, a lot of people under the age of 18 do not have a bank account. People 16 to 18 years old that are driving. In my opinion, when my son goes to drive, he's gonna have a card. It might not be to his bank, it'll probably be to mine, but he's going to have a card. Just so that if he ever needs gas, any emergency, whatever, he can swipe that card, get something that he needs. But he is very responsible, so good news there. Hopefully he's not gonna go buy $10,000 worth of whatever on my card, but we'll see, right? But many people are going up to the attendant with a couple bucks. Here's $2.50. Can you put that on pump 4 over there, right? And that's an issue. Gas is so expensive, so expensive. Now, President Biden, he is trying to do what he can. Today, we saw a letter that President Biden wrote to the FTC chair, Khan, and it said, I quote, "I do not accept hardworking Americans paying more for gas because of anti-competitive or potentially illegal conduct." So President Biden is calling him out. President Biden is doing what he can to try to reduce the price of gas. What we know is executives, oil and gas companies, if they have been doing very well because of the high price of gas. So President Biden is saying that they shouldn't be making billions of dollars in profits when the American people are struggling to put gas in their tanks. But again, saw this just today as well, that people keep telling me, it cost me $4.50, $4.25 to put gas in my tank. I ran across a gas station a few weeks back that only cost, I think it was $3.19 a gallon. $3.19 a gallon. I honestly thought like I just won the lottery. Even though it's, normally I'm paying like $3.70, $3.80, something like that, right under $4. When I saw it was, $3.20, right? I was, whoa, I gotta stop, I gotta fill up, I gotta see this. Because I haven't seen that in a while. So I thought that was very interesting. But again, this is kind of where we're at. And right now, a lot of lawmakers are complaining that we're not doing enough for the American people. Okay, I don't want to say complaining because I'm doing the same thing, right? I'm complaining about that as well. And I don't think that's a complaint. I think it's justified. It's a justified response because we're paying so much to just get whatever it was, right? Just get anything. We're paying more today than we have been in the past couple of years. And it's getting very difficult for many people, especially on a fixed income, to pay for these things. And so that's kind of where we're at. But I want to address one other thing. In a little over a month, according to Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, the new deadline for the debt ceiling is set currently at December 15th. That's the new deadline. That's where it's been extended to. Previously, it was December 3rd, so we have an additional 12 days. Here's the reason why this is good news. And this is actually really good news. What I told you the other day was, in order to do a budget reconciliation, which Democrats can still do, in order to do a budget reconciliation, it takes time. And it takes probably 21 to 28 days. That's 3 to 4 weeks. Now, in order to do that and include a debt ceiling increase or suspension, in order to do that, you have to have at least 3 to 4 weeks. Currently, or yesterday when I told you this, that the date was December 3rd. That would have been 2 weeks from Friday. Okay? So what, 10 days? 1, 2, 9, 16 days, right? 16 days. 16 days from today would have been the date. But now it's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks from today. How convenient is that? It takes 3 to potentially 4 weeks to do a budget reconciliation, which right now Democrats knew that Republicans are not going to back them. Mitch McConnell said he will not support Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer again. He's not going to bail him out one more time. That's not going to happen. So here's the expectation. Right now, the reason why there's 4 weeks is the expectation is Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen, she's going to take some extraordinary measures. She's going to make sure that the government has the money until at least December 15th because Democrats are going to move forward with the budget reconciliation. Here's the thing. They have one budget reconciliation left. this year. So do they do the debt ceiling increase? Do they do the human infrastructure bill? Or do they tie those two together and pass them both? Right now, we just don't know. But what I can tell you is we're going to get more answers, and as we do, I promise, I'll come back on and fill you in on all the latest news and updates. Again, just want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.